Okay, so yesterday I finished one of the best books I have read in a while. I would even say one of the best books I've ever read. It's The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and this would be like a short review. And I just want to say that I really recommend this book to anyone. I also disagree that you need to first read other Brandon Sanderson books before you read this. You shouldn't start with this. This is what a lot of people say. I started with this. Okay, this is my first Brandon Sanderson book, and it's the only one I've read so far. And I'm already a massive fan, and I really enjoyed it. I will admit that it is kind of difficult, but it's not like it's impossible to read if you have like if you haven't read a lot of epic high fantasy. Like I personally do read fantasy, but like not this adult epic fantasy. Usually it's like for people in their late teens, the books I read. But yeah, you can still understand it. It would be easier if you like start probably with Mistborn, which I haven't read yet, but people recommend it. Maybe that's easier, but it's not impossible to read The Way of Kings first, and it is still a really enjoyable read. Okay, so the plot of this book is a little difficult to explain because we follow like different characters who have very separate storylines from one another. But overall, there's currently a war being fought over these blades, like spark blades, I think they're called, or I'm not sure right now. I read the book in German. I don't know what a lot of these things are called in English, but yeah, there's this current war going on, and then we follow like mostly three characters who are, like I said, have completely different storylines throughout this war. So we have Dalinar. He's the brother of a king who was recently murdered, and ever since the death of this king, he has changed a lot. The king's son is now the new king, but yeah, he has changed a lot. He gets like very weird visions, which he believes to be prophetic, but people view him as crazy. And he used to be a really ruthless and very talented warrior, but now he's become more serious and yeah, he has all these visions and starts like there's this old book, The Way of Kings, which he takes interest in its values and lessons. Then we have Kaladin, which for me he was the highlight of this book. He used to be like a soldier, however, he has now been enslaved, and yeah, now he has been brought to like be a bridgeman. I think that's what it's called in English. I'm not sure. Like I said, I read it in German. And then we have Shalan, who her family is in big trouble because her father died, which is not known, by the way. That's kind of a secret. And so she goes to a scholar who she pretends to want to study under, and she does want to study from her, but she's actually there to steal something from her to help her family. So yeah, we have these storylines. Now the thing is that this first book is a little slow, but personally I don't really have much of a problem with it. We get to look into the day-to-day life of these characters in a but like it is still interesting. There's still a lot of plot going on, and I like the fact that we get to see really take a deep look into the lives of these people because it allows us to understand them more properly. And I still it's there's still a lot of interesting stuff going on. Like I said, Kaladin is the main like the main highlight of this book for me because I think he's such a great character. So he used to like really want to always be a soldier, even though his father wanted him to be like a doctor or a nurse. I'm not sure right now. And he chose to be a soldier, and he wanted to fight for what's good to help people. However, he's gone through a lot of loss since. He has lost his family and friends, and eventually he has become a slave. He tried to flee multiple times, but has always been captured again, and then he's taken to be a bridgeman, basically men that have to carry bridges during battles. And these men are not treated well at all. They're usually killed during the battles. They're mostly just kind of like human shields to distract the enemies from like the actual warriors, the actual soldiers, I mean. And yet he has to go through really horrific things there, and he's like slowly losing hope after everything he's been through. But he has a little companion. Her name is Syl. She's not a human, she's a different creature. I don't know the name right now, but yeah, she's there, and at first he's really annoyed by her, but they develop this really sweet bond, which is also like one of the things I really love about this book. But yeah, he starts losing hope, and he does consider at a certain point to take his own life. But in that moment, Syl comes again, and she gives him like a couple of leaves which he had previously lost. These were poisonous leaves, which he had, and because he was considering taking his own life with them. And then him and Syl have like a conversation that kind of changes him, and he regains his hope and decides that he is still going to keep fighting for people, which is like his main drive. And he wants the people, like he's from Bridgeford, and he wants the people of Bridgeford to survive and to give them new hope, because these people, they are really hopeless and like they don't expect to live very long. But he brings new hope into them, and at first he's not really taken seriously, and people are kind of annoyed by him because they all feel really hopeless. But he slowly gets to them and really does help them, and he's like, I can't even, I feel like my words aren't doing him justice, but he's a really, really great character. And yeah, I think him alone, that's like a good enough reason to read the book. And then Shallan, I also like her. I have to say, I don't think she's as interesting as the other two characters, but I also like her desire for learning, and her moral dilemma with whether she should steal from this scholar she's learning from or not. I think the main difference between her and the other two characters is that with her journey, the stakes aren't as high as with the other two. Like, it's she has to help her family get out of their kind of bad situation, like with their wealth. And the other two, these are like Kaladin is enslaved, and Dalinar has like is worried for the future of his kingdoms and with the politics. Yeah, Dalinar I also think is a pretty cool character with his struggle, and we like know that he used to be very different. However, ever since his brother died, he has really changed, and that's like he has these visions, and we don't know what exactly is going on and why he gets them, which is also pretty interesting. I have to say, we also got a little bit from some other characters. One would be Adulin, that's the son of Dalinar, and yeah, I have to say I don't like him as much as the others. He's like kind of always complaining about his father's behavior, and then he's also a womanizer, and those are like his main traits right now. And I don't find anything intriguing about him. In fact, I even find him annoying for one the way he speaks about his father, and I don't like that. And also, yeah, the womanizer archetype. I mean, it's fine, but it's kind of annoying. We also get a few chapters from the perspective of an assassin, Seth. And it was very few chapters, but I'm already really interested in his character. So he's like he doesn't really get to live according to his free will, because there's this, I think, stone or gem, and when someone takes it and it's in their possession, Seth has to do everything that person says. So he's like under their command, and he's usually used to kill people. He was also the one to kill the king, and he doesn't want to do it, but he has to. And I really like also that how he's like forced to go down the Stark path, and how he feels very lost because of it, and he just hopes he won't be made to do like much worse things that he's already been made to do. So yeah, I really think the characters are really what makes this book great. I feel like they're really complex and well written, and I'm really interested to see how these books continue. And yeah, I just recommend to anyone who likes fantasy to read these big books because this book because it's really great.